Hi, I'm Elliott Connie, and I'm a licensed psychotherapist, I'm a podcaster, I'm a lecturer, I'm an author, and one of my biggest passions is helping people have better lives, better mental health, and better relationships. I was online recently and I saw some commentary, and I wanted to address it because I think sometimes people ask questions and then the comments don't come from people that are trained to have people have better mental health or better relationships. They just come from random people and they're sometimes kind of crazy. So I wanted to add some content that would make a difference, and I found a thread that I'm going to add to. So this person wrote, my girlfriend and I have been together for about a year now. My girlfriend has more than a few guy friends, and I'm not one of those guys that thinks men and women can't be friends. However, two of these guys, it's very clear that they want more than just friendship from her. Like clear as day, to the point where I don't get how she doesn't see it. Well, I'll have a response to that shortly. If I can notice just by the weird energy that they try to exude when I'm present, she should be able to get it too, right? Wrong? Anytime I have pointed this out, she gets upset with me. She tells me that I'm being jealous and reading into things that aren't there. I argue back that I'm just letting her know, and as a guy, I can probably tell much better than she can, since women tend to be a little slow regarding things like this. So 2 nights ago, she was hanging out with her friends and this guy was present. From what she told me, they were all drinking and he said some things that implied he wants to be with her. She was made uncomfortable by this, and the night ended shortly after. Fast forward to yesterday morning. She got a series of texts apologizing for what he said, and then backpedaling and saying that he would treat her so much better than me, and she's wasting her time with me. She of course said no and was upset with him. After she told me, I just read the text and simply said, wow, who could have seen this coming, being a bit sarcastic. So, all right, I have a few things I want to respond to in this. The first question that this person asked, how come the partner didn't see it? And I think a couple of things. Number one, she's in the situation and people want to think well of their friends. If my friend gets me a drink, I want to think that they're doing that because they're my friend. We don't want to think that people have ulterior motives, and we don't want to think that people are disrespectful of our boundaries. So if someone knows that I have a partner and they say, hey, I'm going to the bar to get a drink, do you want anything? And I say, sure, get me a Coke. I want to believe that they did that just being kind for being kind's sake. I don't want to believe they did that because they want to be with me and they're disrespecting boundaries in my relationship. So that's the number one reason that it's hard for her to see it, because she's in the scenario. She wants to believe that that person who's being kind to her, that person who's saying nice things to her, that person who's complimenting her, we want to believe that they're just saying it because they're kind. They're just saying it because we're friends. They're not just saying it because they ultimately have this end. I think the other thing that's important here is when you're talking to your partner and you're saying things like, this person, this behavior, this dynamic, or this relationship in your life makes me uncomfortable, they have to respect that. It actually doesn't matter whether or not the partner is being disrespectful. It doesn't really matter if the other person is hitting on your partner. The simple fact that you're saying this makes me uncomfortable, your partner needs to respect that and make adjustments based upon what makes you comfortable. The moment you start ignoring when your partner says, these things make me uncomfortable and I want you to change them, then resentment and insecurity comes into your relationship. And I promise you, those things are like poison pills in what could otherwise be a wonderful relationship. I think sometimes we get into this scenario, it's like, I don't want to let anybody control me. I hear that and that makes sense. But it's not about letting somebody control you or not. The biggest lesson is realizing my job is to be in a relationship with you. And that means I've got to do things that make you feel good, feel better, feel secure. You got to do things that make me feel good, feel better, feel secure. If there's something happening that does not make you feel good, that does not make you feel better, that does not make you feel secure, I got to respond to that even if I don't see it. That's the entire point of being in a relationship. So what are your thoughts? Based upon what I read, based upon what I said, what would your advice be for this couple? I would love to hear your thoughts. Some of the people have been leaving comments on this thread. One woman wrote, she's being sarcastic here, but So now I know that whenever I need to determine if something a man says is just sincere, harmless compliment versus a subtle hitting on me, I just need to ask a man who has a faster brain to tell me what it is. And I agree with that, actually. I agree with her sarcasm is what I'm saying, but in the thread, this person is saying, like, I'm a man so I can see it. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's true. And to be honest with you, it's irrelevant. As I said, the only thing that matters is if the dynamic makes you uncomfortable. And if it makes you uncomfortable, you have every right to speak up to your partner, and your partner should honor that uncomfort and do something to make you feel more secure. Bring you around that person more often, reinforce to that person, up to and including cutting the person who makes your partner uncomfortable out of your life. But we have to be able to respect what our partner's views are. And I think this commenter is getting stuck in whether it's right or wrong. Are they hitting on me or are they not? That is absolutely irrelevant. Well, I'm gonna give you an example of what I mean. Let's say I work with someone that is female. I spend a lot of time around this person. I'm always around this person. And let's say my partner gets uncomfortable. And my partner says, I'm really uncomfortable with this dynamic. And I know there's nothing to it. It's a work relationship. It's a platonic relationship. My job isn't to tell my partner there's nothing to it and try to convince them. My job is to make my partner more comfortable. And I have to ask questions like, what would make you more comfortable with this? And I've got to respond to that. So maybe bringing that person to the house. Here's a secret. Here's a tip. Whenever you're in that kind of situation with your relationship, have that person become a friend of the relationship, not just a friend of one of the people. By spending more time around both of them, then comfort is going to rise with the person who feels insecure. So you got to make adjustments like that. And if your partner continues to feel insecure, you got to choose. Do I want a happy, secure relationship, or do I want to choose this person? And sometimes you have to pick one, because you know what? There are times when that person's right. There might be something underlying here, and they can see it and you can't. Not because they're a man and they have a faster brain, but just because when you're in it, you want to think that the people are saying nice things to you because they're nice and friendly, and they may have ulterior motives that someone, male or female, outside of the dynamic can see. I remember once I was teaching with a friend of mine. I was just teaching, and he was observing. We were kind of teaching together, so when it was my turn to teach, he was off to the side observing, and he said, there was a young woman in the audience, he said, she's got eyes for you. And just as a lecturer, I wanted to believe that everybody in the audience was paying attention to me because they loved my content. And he said, she's got eyes for you. And I was like, oh, she's crazy. She's just like what I'm saying. And, like the way I tell stories, and like the way that I was doing what I was doing. And he said, no, she's got eyes for you. And sure enough, when the lunch break came, that young lady approached me and asked me what I was doing for lunch. He saw it, and I couldn't see it because I wanted to think good. So it has nothing to do with like a man brain is faster and a woman brain is faster. When anyone, male or female, is outside of the dynamic, they can see it because you want to think good of the people who are saying good things to you, and they might have ulterior motives. So leave your comments. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of this video. I'd love to hear what advice you would give to a couple in a similar scenario. See if it's in line with my advice. But remember, I'm a trained professional. I've been working with couples for a long, long time. This is a passion point of mine, but I'm still curious what you guys would think. And I'm curious if it would be in line with what I said. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Please share it with people because I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts about this. You can follow me on social media, Instagram @Elliott Speaks, Twitter @Elliott Speaks, Facebook, Elliott Connie, or you can even find me there @Elliott Speaks. You can also find my podcast, The Aha Moments with Elliott Connie. I'd love to stay in touch with you and share more content, so please follow me, like, and share this video.